everyone, it's your favorite gentleman, Marcus Norman of Gentleman Style Podcast Show. And today we have an incredible woman with a pure heart of gold. And she's here to share her story on how she dived into real estate and how she changed the game and the trajectory for her life and her family. Stay tuned, stay with us. You won't want to miss 1 second of this dynamic speaker and this impactful woman. Here we go. Hey everybody, welcome to the Gentleman Style Podcast Show. Today I have Miss Stephanie Heiser, and she is a true game changer. Selling and investing in real estate was never in her life plan. She was a teacher and then a vice principal, and then got a taste of her first flip, and realized there was a strong need for agents that would educate and advocate for their clients and not hurt their clients. She loves to inspire listeners to pursue their passion, especially if it's real estate. She is smart and strategic and wasn't born into wealth like most of us, or born into the real estate business. She took a huge leap of faith with her first investment and made $60,000 in profit. And she's on the Gentleman Style Podcast Show today. Help me welcome Miss Stephanie Heiser. Welcome to the Gentleman Style Podcast Show. I thank you for taking time to be with us here. You are amazing, and your resume is extensive. Woo!
Thank you. It's been quite a whirlwind.
You stay busy, and you look fantastic. Round of applause, y'all. Round of applause.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Miss Stephanie, you spilled some tea here. What in the world? When you dove into real estate, and we're going to touch on that, but can you give us some background on you were a vice principal, you were a teacher. What initially happened? What was the pivot point for you to even dive in or even go to real estate?
Well, it should have been early on in my career. I had so many red flags and signs that this was definitely not for me, but I never actually stopped to think, what does resonate with me? What is something that will make me happy? I just thought, you have to do all of these things. And I was just kind of mindlessly going through all of these steps. And I absolutely love teaching. I love my students. I was really good at it. I got my master's at Pepperdine and became a principal. And I really loved that job too. But I just hate all the politics and the admin and the red tape and the budget and mismanagement of funds. And I just, the whole education field didn't vibe with me whatsoever. And I was a vice principal when I had this psycho principal that just was making my life a living hell. So I had to think quickly of what I'm going to do to save my life and save my health. I was in the emergency room one too many times. And my now husband he owned a home a few miles away from the home I owned. And I basically made him quit or sell his house, move in with me. And so I could quit because I knew I would be losing a 6-figure job, and either I would have no job, or luckily I found another job pretty quickly. But I did cut my salary by a lot. We were together all the time anyway, might as well combine our finances. So he bought his house for $70,000 and sold it for $150,000. And that was before the market was insane, before we knew anything about real estate. So once we had $10,000 cash to play with, once he paid off all of his student loan debt, we were looking for a piece of land to buy because, I don't know, someone somewhere said buy land and hold on to it forever. But I ended up finding a super cute 400 square foot cabin with electric and power, 5 acres for 40 grand. And we bought it and had no clue what we were doing. Fast forward a year later, and a whole bunch of blood, sweat, tears, frustration. And we listed it during the huge shutdown when we were all first scared of the pandemic. Nobody wanted to buy Airbnb properties anymore, but we still made 60 grand profit. And that was what started it. And we got addicted.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Did you know when you and your husband partnered up and you convinced them to sell and combine incomes and move in together? Did you know that his house was going to sell for that much, or that was just kind of a luck of the draw type deal? Like it's just like, oh well, your house appraised, you got the appraisal back, and then here you go.
Yeah, we look on all the big websites like everybody else. And by the way, researching those websites does not make you an expert and does not have accurate information a lot of times. But I guess we had a ballpark, but when he bought his house for 70 grand, that was, I think, in '09. So a good time to buy. And our area in Joshua Tree, 29 Palms, has always been super affordable, especially compared to the rest of California. Even today, when the market is this hot, if you buy a house in 29 Palms or Joshua Tree, your return on investment for Airbnb, for long-term rentals, just to live in it, is way more affordable than any other place in California. And it was just a really good place and a good time to get our feet wet in real estate investing.
Absolutely. How are you guys still investing in California even today?
Yep, even in this crazy market, we get keys to a new house today. So, yeah, I'm so excited. This house has a hot tub and a pool with a waterfall. It's all surrounded by trees in the backyard. So, it's very lush and green compared to our desert roots. But we moved to Visalia in Central California. We're close to the Sequoia National Park, which is all on fire right now. And it's so super sad. But I work both markets by national parks, so Joshua Tree and Sequoia. And the towns happen to be like the most affordable in California. So it was just kind of a crazy coincidence how that worked out. And so in Visalia, we bought a 5-bedroom home with a pool in a beautiful, beautiful neighborhood. And it was a killer deal. Last October, in the height of the market, we bought for $370, and we are in escrow right now for $515,000. Granted, we put probably 90 into it, but there's no time in history where you can get 100% of your investment back in less than 1 year. So in that process of flipping this house, but living in it, not knowing if we want to sell in 2 years or 10, we decided to sell in 9 months because we can get all of our money back and move into a smaller, more affordable house with a hot tub and a gorgeous pool and not have 2 stories. The 2 stories just not for me.
Makes sense. Makes perfect sense. Miss Stephanie Heiser, y'all, powerhouse speaker. I told y'all she was spilling the tea on Gentleman Style Podcast show today. We have one quick commercial break. You guys don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Good day, podcast listeners. This is your boy, Marcus Norman of Gentleman Style Podcast Show. I wanted to let you guys know that we will be rolling out a new feature and adding a join sponsor button next to the subscriber button here at the bottom of your screen. Once you click the button, it will display 3 membership levels. Gentleman Gentry, which is our entry level, Duke Duchess, which is our season level, and the Emperor and Empress, which is our most sophisticated level, which you will receive unique perks and benefits at each differing level and gain access to our community tab. We will also be sharing polls, upcoming events, and interviews, as well as receive feedback from our sponsors directly. Your support helps me find new and exciting guests to bring to the stage live. Well, in order to get the higher end speakers, it requires, you guessed it, money. So thank you for tuning in to my channel. And if becoming a sponsor sounds good to you, then select the join button below and choose your desired sponsor level. Let's continue to grow and serve the future of generations of men and women to come. Love you guys. Bye. We are back. And we have the incredible Stephanie Heiser, real estate mogul extraordinaire. And I was just shaking, y'all. I'm excited because what she just spilled previously, just now, if you missed it, she talked about investing in a market in California and how she and her husband and how they were able to take advantage even in a down market, even in a hot market. They were able to do their research, and she just spilled some more tea. She's like, just because you can get on Zillow does not make you a real estate expert. So if you missed that, go back, scroll back, and tune back in. She is spilling all the tea, some of the tea. You got to check, you got to connect with her to get the rest of the tea here on the Gentleman Style Podcast Show. Miss Heiser, you are incredible, and you've taken advantage of some unique opportunities in the real estate market, but you also sell real estate. And you did something that unique that I have to touch on because it is not the norm. But you sold a certain amount of houses your first year in real estate. Can you talk about a little bit of that, and how did you accomplish such a huge feat?
Well, I sold 54 houses my first 12 months in real estate. And now I have been in real estate since February 2020. So for about 19 months now, and I don't have time to count, but I'm at 70 something transactions. So it really took like 15-hour days, lots of times, steady 12-hour day stretches for months on end. It's really kicking my butt, and I highly don't recommend working that hard. But I was so motivated to get out of teaching. I was so motivated to help different people in all walks of life get their first house or downsize or upgrade, get their first investment property, get their first flip, get their first Airbnb, get their 15th Airbnb. And I'm just addicted. I love, love, love when people get those keys. And I love when people talk to me months later and say, like, I have to sell my house now, but it's my decision. And I run the numbers and I'm like, dude, you're going to make thousands and thousands of dollars. This is life-changing. There's a bright light in, the hardship you're going through. And I mean, over time, real estate investing has just pretty much been fail-proof. Of course, you had the market crash, but still the people that bought at the height of that market and then lost all the equity for all those years, if they were renting their property or living in it, they're still making massive amounts of money if they sell right now. So if you're smart about it, real estate investing is pretty fail-proof.
Absolutely. What secrets, what tips I get it all the time. I hear it all the time. There are new agents coming to market. What secrets or tips would you share to that up and coming real estate agent so that they can grind? Because you just said you're like, hey, I did this, but I wouldn't recommend this. Can you share any tips to that new agent out in the audience?
Well, if you are a lot more organized and efficient than I was, then you don't have to work 12 to 15-hour days. So I definitely suggest having your ducks in a row and getting your systems in place, of course, as much as you could know as a new agent. But I had no idea when I got my license that I would have 8 open escrows all at one time within my second month. So I was this trial by fire for sure. So while I am super strategic and I am generally super efficient, I just like had no time to get my business in order before I was working super hard with all of these open escrows and showing houses. So definitely stay organized. There's so many good resources. Real Estate Rockstars is a great podcast for new agents to listen to. Lots of tips on there. Honestly, that's what helped me gain the confidence to just dive right in. I had all these ideas, my brain was always spinning listening to them. There are so many online resources, but the thing is, you don't want to just be a resource junkie and then never do anything. You have to see like who resonates with you. I love some of the, coaches you always see advertising and you hear about them, but cold calling and door knocking is not for me. Like that, I knew there's no way I'm doing that. No, I don't listen to them. I follow who resonates with me. And the thing with real estate, you have to remember you own your own business. Like you have to think of it as your business. You have to constantly be prospecting, looking for clients, educating, providing value. So don't post every day saying, buy a house from me. Post tips and tricks and things you learn. Show the pretty houses you're showing to clients, show the ugly houses, talk about the benefits of buying in a neighborhood that is seeing an increase in sales right now. So just educate yourselves and empower yourself so that you can empower other people.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I told y'all, isn't she wise? This is the stuff you don't get, right? You're not going to get this in school. You're not going to get this in insurance license in school or getting your license. We have a question from an audience member, Miss Marlene Victorious. Thank you for joining us on the show. She asks, what's the percentage an agent receives per sale?
Super smart question. So maximum you'll see is 3%. The low end is usually 2%, but there's actually no rule or law. It could literally be anything. So, for example, I'm representing my parents on the sale of their house right now. Like, let's say it's 300,000 even. Of course, I am not charging my parents 3%. I'm not even charging them anything, but I wrote on the listing agreement $1,000 because that covers my transaction fees, my broker's fees, and
Your time.
um,
Your time.
yeah, my time. But my parents, I owe them the whole entire world. But the buyer's agent will get 2.5%. So that would be 7,500 on a $300,000 house. And the great thing to know, even if you just want to invest and you don't want to be an agent, then getting your license helps you. So my husband and I are closing on a house today, and I'm going to make $9,000 on that close. And that's $9,000 going into my new cabinets. So if you get your license, if you want to start investing, flipping, having long-term or short-term rentals, the bar to get your license is so ridiculously low. You can do, like, in California, it's 3 courses. They cost about $350. You can finish them within 3 months online. You take the $300 exam, and then you pay about $1,000 a year in your multiple listing service fees. So, in less than $2,000 in less than like 5 months, you could have your real estate license and be making money on your transactions. And when you're in the multiple listing service and not relying on Zillow and Realtor.com for your feed, you see the private agent notes, you get inside info. What is the seller looking for? Do they need a long escrow or a short escrow? You see what the percentage is. That's information. So you will never, if you are an agent and you have clients, you definitely cannot let that percentage like boggle your mind when you're showing houses. It doesn't matter what you're making, it matters that your client is getting a great house. But when you're showing an $800,000 house and you see that it's 3%, that's like enough to make you want to work 15 hours a day because that's a $24,000 check.
That's motivation for me. I'll take that. I'll take it. That's worth it for me. Miss Marlena, I hope that answered your question. Thank you for that. Great response. And thank you for breaking down the cost, right? And so I hope y'all didn't miss that, but there's a cost to getting your license depending on the state or the area that you're in. And just bouncing those numbers off and seeing that it's worth it for you. But listen to the control that she has, right? She has control as the agent on what she makes on those sales and what she makes on the sale of those homes and the purchase of those homes. But also keep in mind serving her clients, right? We're not just in the business of taking money and getting rich. This isn't a get rich quick business, because it took a grind, it took a hustle, it took long hours and long nights. And so thank you for delicately breaking that down, Miss Stephanie. Miss Stephanie, I want to pivot now. I want to pivot to the real estate investment side of things. How this is the big thing. How do I know I'm looking at a good deal? What are some metrics, or what are some things that someone can, and what are some things I should consider to know that I'm looking at a good real estate investment deal?
Well, if you are looking for a short-term rental, like in Joshua Tree, you're going to make way more money on an Airbnb VRBO short-term rental versus long-term. So you need to research the market. If you know it's a trendy tourist place, most likely a short-term rental is going to be your best bet. So you can just go onto AirDNA, like AIRDNA.com. And that website gives you inside info about Airbnbs in the area. It will tell you the average price. It will tell you the like saturation of the market. But also, you need to just look on Airbnb and do some thinking yourself, because the Joshua Tree market is super saturated. But you can see there's a lot of homes that aren't super cute. They don't have that, desert boho vibe that people want when they come to the desert. So, um, if you look on AirDNA and if you look at Airbnbs in the area, what are they selling for? Do the math. If your mortgage is $1,200 and the average price point in the area is $300 a night, on surface, you have to do 4 nights a month to make your money back. But of course, you have your fees, maybe your management company fees if you're not going to manage it yourself. Airbnb takes some money, uh, cleaning crews. So you just have to do the math, but it's usually pretty simple. If you want a long-term rental, definitely check out homes in areas by military bases. So 29 Palms has a huge Marine Corps base, and the military members, they get a monthly allowance. So you're always going to have pretty good tenants. They pay on time. If they don't, you call their commanding officer, and they have steady income. So investing outside of military bases is really smart, and that's our plan to grow our portfolio next. And then if you want to do flips in this market, I read an article the other day, in this insanely super high market, you're making less money and less profit than you would in any other market, but you're still making money. So you want to find the ugliest house in the nicest neighborhood. That's what we did in this house that I'm going to be super sad to leave in a few weeks. But it is legit the ugliest house in the most gorgeous neighborhood ever. And our numbers were totally off on renovating. We didn't know there would be some plumbing things that we had to update and other expenses. And then once we started taking down walls and rearranging, we just kind of went crazy with it and made this house super elegant, which wasn't our initial plan. But our profit is only going to be probably like 20 grand. But if you think about it, I'm getting a refund of the $2,000 a month I just paid for the last 9 months of mortgage. So if you just do math, you don't need to make 60 grand on your every flip. Even if, say, you do your first three flips, you break even or lose 20 grand. I mean, that's your schooling, that's your learning. I paid over 100 grand to go to college for a career that sucked the life out of me. You can maybe lose 20 grand in a few months of flipping and learn so much, but the chance of you losing money is pretty slim. Just look at the comps in the area, look at what is the nicest house in that area selling for. If I bring this house up to that house, what can I do to even make more money than that? So if you're smart about it, you're totally making profit. If you're stupid about it, you're gaining a huge learning curve. So no matter what, those first few flips are invaluable.
Absolutely. Miss Stephanie, I love how you broke that down. I want to address the elephant in the room, right? That's on everybody's mind. And you talked about it earlier, the 2008 market crash. Um, do you suspect, or do you feel, in your personal opinion, do you think the market is going to crash again? And if so, how are you and your husband preparing for that economic shift?
Well, I do not think the market is going to crash. I think it is correcting a little bit right now. I hope it corrects. I would love to see more families be able to get into homes, more first time home buyers, more first time flippers. I would love for, of course, it to be more affordable and accessible for everybody. But if you look at the numbers from the market crash we had in '08 to now, nothing is similar. Then the inventory was several months. Right now, we have way more buyers than we have inventory. The inventory in most markets is a month or less. So that means if everybody looking right now bought a house, in a month, that all of those buyers would be absorbed and there would be no more inventory. So in lots of markets, we have just a few homes in someone's price range. And most homes have multiple offers. I don't think I've submitted an offer probably in several months that hasn't had a ton of competition. So, when I listed my house just a few weeks ago, I listed super high at the high end of what it would comp for because I didn't want a ton of traffic in and out of my house. And we still got several offers. My mom's house is on the market right now, and I just keep getting offers, and it's so hard to pick. Like, I don't want to disappoint all these other people who are struggling. So, one of the other reasons why the market won't crash is they have not had new construction. If you look at the amount of new builds every decade, this last decade, we've had less than 25% of the historical amount of new construction. So there's a lot of government barriers, a lot of red tape. Of course, in the last year, building stopped a lot because the materials were skyrocketing. It's picking up a lot more now that the materials have gone down in price and we have more access to the materials that were on back order forever. So also we have like our population is growing and we have the most amount of people than ever before in the home buying range. So like from 27 to 33, those are typically your first time home buyers and their median income is larger than ever before. So I've sold houses to tons of millennials, so many of them, and I'm so excited for them and so proud of them. When I was 27, I was not thinking about buying a house or an investment property. And so many of my clients have learned, probably because, Bigger Pockets is such a popular podcast and website, and people just have access to information like your amazing podcast, and people can research and learn so much quicker than they could have before. So, I mean, people are buying tons of houses if they are investors And that takes a lot off the market too. So Airbnb has totally changed the game. And a lot of my clients are buying like their eighth, ninth, 10th house. And then many others are struggling to get their first house. So that part is a huge bummer. But people are building wealth on their own through real estate like never before. So, with the high demand, the very small amount of new construction, the low interest rates, the high median income, I don't think the market is going to crash at all.
Love that. I love that. We have, before we go to our commercial, I wanted you to take this question from Miss Marlena. She came back. Is it possible to have a license in more than one state?
Definitely. A lot of agents, especially in the smaller states on the East Coast, they are licensed in like Virginia and Maryland or New York and Pennsylvania. Having a dual license, even uh, if I started investing, I've been looking at Natchez, Mississippi. If I started investing there, I would probably look into getting my license there, even if I just buy a few properties myself, then like I said, I get that commission and that goes towards my flips. So you can get licensed in every single state if you want. You just have to look up the state's requirements. Some of them have reciprocity, and then you just have to take the exam and you don't have to redo the classes. But absolutely, if you can have a license in more than one state, do it.
Absolutely. It's Stephanie Heiser, y'all. We are going to go to a quick commercial break. Stay tuned. Stay with us. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. We have to pay some bills, y'all. Show sponsors coming up next.
If you're looking for a reliable, professional trucking and logistics service, you've come to the right place. Musa Trucking is a veteran-owned and operated premier transportation provider that can help with all of your trucking and logistics needs. Musa is revolutionizing the trucking industry through strategic partnerships, the development of core personnel, and the use of cutting-edge technology. Our inventory system ensures that cargo ends up divided into the right trucks and reaching the correct destination. Our drivers are dedicated to transporting goods efficiently and safely. Contact us today to get started by visiting the website on the screen or by calling 757-756-5246.
We are back to the Gentleman Style Podcast Show, and we have the incredible Miss Stephanie Heiser breaking down what she sees and some predicators to look for in this upcoming economy as far as it goes for real estate. And she listed some of the key points and metrics that she and her family look at in considering whether to invest in this market or not. If you missed that, go back, scroll back, and tune back in because she is spilling some powerful tea and some things and topics that I didn't even hear about, haven't even heard about. Everybody's doom and gloom, but she actually has a different approach that you need to check her out on. So that is major. I wanted to go back and address Miss Marlena's follow-up question. She asked, can you give tips to the first-time home buyer program and credits?
Yes, that is my favorite thing. So, if you are a first time buyer, definitely check out your credit score. You want to make sure you have credit. If you've been paying for everything with cash your whole life, that's super awesome. But open a credit card, pay the bills on time, and build credit history. If your credit score isn't over about 650, I suggest getting it up that way because a lot of lenders, hey, that's another reason why the market isn't going to crash. Lenders are so super strict right now. It is crazy what you have to do to prove that you're super qualified. So make sure you have your bank statements on hand. Make sure you have your W-2s, your tax information, your pay stubs. Make sure your credit score is over 650. There are definitely programs and lenders that can help you if it's not, but you need to just be prepared to take on that responsibility. So I personally say get your credit over 650 so that your interest rate is lower and you're not paying a whole lot more in the long run. Also, make sure you're saving for closing costs. That's about 2 to 3% of your purchase price. So at a $300,000 house, you need to be prepared to spend about 10 grand on all the fees just to get the loan. And then if you're in a rural area, there's USDA programs which are 0% down. If you have less of a credit score and less of a down payment, you could do FHA, which is typically 3.5%. But the best thing you should do is save up enough money and get your credit score high enough so that you can do a conventional loan at 5% down. Because at 5% down, you qualify for a lower interest rate, which saves you a lot of money over time, and it makes your offer more competitive. So when sellers are getting multiple offers, especially if their agent is giving them good advice, you'll pick a conventional loan over an FHA or USDA loan any day in a competitive market, because those loans have to go through more processes. The people are less qualified when they get those loans. The lenders are a lot more strict with what repairs have to be done in a house. Even a house that looks spectacular and you think, oh, nothing will be called out, they will ask for like all of the fascia, that's like the trim around your roofing, to be repainted. So seasoned sellers and agents know that you do not want to pick FHA or USDA over a conventional loan. So that's not to discourage anyone. Please, 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 if you can get qualified and do FHA and USDA and that's your option over renting, do it and don't give up. Someone somewhere will accept your offer. But in a perfect world, if you're planning ahead of time, and when I was a first-time home buyer, I wish someone would have explained this to me. If you can save up so you'll have 5% down. So again, on a $300,000 house, that's $15,000 that you put down, plus your 7 to 10 in closing costs. So you got to be stacking lots of cash to be prepared. And then you're going to have your appraisal fee, which in California is about $600 that you have to pay out of pocket up front. You're going to have your home inspection, which could be around $400, and you have to pay that up front. And then everything else is due 30 days later, typically at your close of escrow. So make sure you're saving cash and increasing your credit score.
I hope that helped Miss Marlena. That helped me. She was talking to me, y'all. I felt attacked. I felt guilty. I was like, the beauty about my show is I get to take notes.
Too.
I get to take notes the entire time. I love it. I love it. Love it. Love it. Miss, you talked about this earlier. You were a teacher, vice principal. What tips or what recommendation would you give to other teachers or anyone in general who wants to transition to real estate? Any secrets there?
Definitely get your license while you can, like while you're in teaching, at night and during the lunch break and on the weekends, be working on those online classes, and then study, pass your exam. And I wouldn't even stress about passing the exam, honestly. Just take it. And then say you fail the first time, which a lot of people do. I didn't, but a lot of people do. If you see the test, it's so much easier to know, because real estate has just a wide range of information you need to know for the exam, not so much in real life, but for the exam, it's just so much to take in and it can feel very overwhelming. Everything's very foreign, but just take the exam and then you know really what to study for the second time you take it, and then you pass it. So if you are transitioning from one career into real estate, definitely try to join a team that gives you leads. So I pay for a bunch of leads on different websites and then do different community events. And when I get phone calls and get internet leads, I filter them all out to my teammates, and they get leads without having to pay the upfront cost. I take a percentage of their commission to cover my cost. But if you can find a good team leader that will give you the flexibility to, of course, prioritize your current job, but give you leads so that you can start getting experience and making the money now without having to fork out a ton of your own money for leads, I highly recommend that. And I can help you find a team in your area. Like, we're super well connected around the country, and I can do a bunch of research for you and network and try to help you find a team that I feel like would be authentic and genuinely want to help you.
Did I mention she had a heart of gold, y'all? A true heart of gold. Miss Stephanie, you have been impactful and incredible today. I thank you for taking time again, for giving back in this way on the Gentleman Style Podcast Show. How can we all connect with you? How can my audience learn more and grow with you on this journey?
Well, the easiest way is on Instagram at Steph Heiser Does Real Estate. So StephHeiser Does Real Estate. You can DM me anytime, or you can find me on Facebook, Stephanie Heiser. You can also go to my website, heiserhometeam.com. That's HEISER. Home, HOME, team, TEAM.com.
Absolutely. Love it, love it, love it. Thank you again for taking time out of your busy day, Miss Heiser. I'm going to leave that up on the big screen a little bit. You are phenomenal. I want to say this to you publicly. Don't quit. Don't ever quit. You are phenomenal. You give back so much, and you deserve the world. I want to say this to you publicly. Don't ever give up.
Thank you so much. I had so much fun. I love your audience. I love your show. I listen to it often. It's so amazing. Thank you for your contribution to the world. And I loved being here to help you lift others.
She's a rock star. Rock star, y'all. Don't forget, that's HeiserHometeam.com. Connect, grow, and learn. And so, unfortunately, y'all, we got to go. I got to give her back to her family. Right? Got to give her back to her business. She got a company to run. But thank you again. I hope this message has served you all. I hope this helps take you guys to the next level. And if you ever had a doubt in your mind about getting into real estate, now's the time. Forget the naysayers. You deserve more. You deserve better. So like I end every show, take care of your friends, take care of your family, and don't forget, always, always, always take care of business. This is Marcus Norman of Gentleman Style Podcast Show, your favorite gentleman, and Miss Stephanie Heiser, the game changer, the myth, the lady herself. Love you guys. Bye.